We are live here on the Nourish Your Soul show. Good evening, everyone. It is 2/2/26. I am your host, Lainey Sevante. I go by Sevante on this show, and I'm so glad that I am able to have this Monday night powwow with whoever comes to the table here. I'm liking that expression lately, like a seat at the table. And even if the seat of the table is later on or it's now, I welcome you, Denise. Hello, hello. I am in my zone tonight to talk about my favorite topic, food. Sometimes when we think about nourishing your soul, we can nourish your soul through the body. Physically, we can nourish your soul through emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually. Tonight is physical, although it's also very spiritual. And I'm really thrilled to bring on in a minute here Chef Autumn Day, who I've had the pleasure of knowing for a few years now and work with. And it's not very often that, and it's becoming actually more often that I get to work with someone and speak in my language, and she understands my language, the spiritual language of talking to food. And I have to say that some people are like, fangirling around celebrities. If you're like, fangirling around an actor or a musician, I fangirl around chefs. Okay. That is my thing. I love chefs. I'm in awe of them. I think they're completely just so unique and creative and just, next level. And so I've always been that way. I've been a foodie myself. I'm always a foodie, but I've been a chef. And when I met Chef Autumn, I knew it was a match. So let's bring her on the show and let's talk frequency of food for the next half hour. Chef Autumn Day. Yay!
Good evening.
I do need to get a little sound machine or something that gives a big applause when someone comes onto the screen. You look beautiful tonight.
Oh, thank you. It's so nice to be here with you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, you're so welcome. So let's just give people a little bit of background on you, Chef. You came, I'll start it and you can complete it. I was doing a presentation and I was at a Spirit Fest and you came up to my booth and we started talking food, spirituality, frequency, and you were like immediately getting it. And then I go, "What do you do?" And you said, "I'm a chef."
Oh, yes.
Like, oh. So how was it from your perspective? Like, what were you doing there? What was on your mind? Like, what happened when you came to my booth and saw all this food? On cards, they had words that said something, that's spiritual.
I'm definitely always trying to align the different pillars of my life and the spiritual side and the more practical side. I was definitely looking to align those things when I came there that day. And I feel like I was led to a modality that I wasn't familiar with, but that I've become really familiar in taking your courses and utilizing the cards and the vibrational cues that I'm getting from spirit really leads me in my menu planning. And that was magnified that day that I met you and learned the language of these foods more, consistently.
So before the frequency of food kind of came full throttle, tell us your background, just in a nutshell. We'll keep it brief. On, have you always been a foodie? At what point did you say, "I'm going to be a chef, I'm going to bring nutrition to people who have all these crazy diets and health challenges"? Because so many people out there need your services and you're working with a lot of people who have different conditions. So when was it we were like, I'm my God-given talent, I'm bringing this to the world, I'm going to nourish people's souls?
Well, it's always been a part of my life. I was raised on a homestead where food was a very big part of everyday life. And then I visited it again when I was an adult, taking care of other people in my life who didn't want to go the traditional medicinal way. And from there, I just started meeting more people who had a need, and I had the skills. And networking at events like the Masters tournament, I met a lot of folks who really helped me along my path in, you know, spending my time with food instead of other things I was doing.
Do you have a particular genre of food that speaks to your soul?
Oh, for sure. And that would be whole food, plant-based, you know, as few ingredients in each dish as possible, letting them shine on their own,
Like, what's a
seasonal
typical
cuisine.
meal? Like, when like your go-to meal for yourself, when you're like, I am just gonna, throw down today. Like, what is that meal? Because I love your food. I order it all the time. I hire you as much as I can at any event possible. I think your food is so high vibrational. But what is your go-to meal?
Well, I definitely always go out in my garden and pick whatever I can. My meals are completely driven on what is in season and what is available, but it's always about 80% vegetable based, maybe something that could be in one pot. Convenience is a really important thing to me, and I try to avoid anything packaged. So for
Okay, so
sure,
tell me
fresh.
a favorite meal right now. Like, it's February and it's cold. What are you making? And by the way, did you have to cover all your food with in your garden? Like, I
Oh, for sure. Everything has like tents around it right now, trying to save as much as I can with the low temperatures. But I definitely would make some sort of soup or stew with lots of squashes and tomatoes and beans. That's definitely a staple for me.
well, after doing the nutrition intensive on Saturday, Chef Autumn was at my nutrition intensive, and people who've taken the Food Healing Oracle Deck certification levels, which she's a graduate. We were giving people a deeper understanding of what nutrition is in the 60 cards from the second helpings deck. And oh my God, black eyed peas. I mean, it just went on and on as like the top nutrition food ever. And we just kept scratching our heads going, okay, yeah, you do it at New Year's Day. It's a tradition. But weren't you just surprised that every time when I was doing the top 10 vitamin, the top 10 mineral, the top 10 for disease prevention, like most challenges, disease prevention, black eyed peas was reigning supreme. Did that surprise you?
So surprising. I had no idea that they were such a powerhouse. And because I was impacted by that information so much, today I was doing some recipe testing and converting my black bean quinoa burgers to a triple bean, adding the black eyed peas and the garbanzo beans just for the health benefits.
Oh my God, superfood. So, you never know that you can come across one. Have you ever done product development? Like, you know what? This is something I'm going to market because everyone needs to have it. Because I used to be in product marketing when I worked for a very famous chef, and we would create things and we were going to present it and take it. Back in the day, in LA there was something called Mrs. Gooch's, and Whole Foods bought them up. But I always, in my mind, that's my degree, is product development. And every time I think, oh my God, the things that you make, I'm like, that should be a product everyone should be eating in the stores packaged. Do you ever think about that route?
I only worked for other large scale companies in their quality control. And that's the only thing that I've ever done with product development, but I would be very interested in it. It's definitely riveting to me.
Yeah. All right. So we named the show Frequency of Food. So let's talk what that means to you. Like, when you are around food and you're preparing it, do you feel an energy? Do you just say, hi, that's a vibrational food? Like, let's talk about what that means to you when we say that is a high frequency meal or that is a high vibrational meal. And maybe those are just my words, but I do believe when I eat your food and your combinations, like, wow, I just tune right in. I'm like, she's just got this understanding, a deeper understanding of the vibrations of how foods come together. So what's it like when you're in the kitchen? Is it intuitive? Like, how do you pull it all together?
Yes, it's a very intuitive process. first in trying to tap into the vibrational, feels of everything at the grocery store or at the market. Am I drawn to everything about the vendor? It's not just what they're offering, but how they're treating people, the way they present themselves. I'm feeling my way through that. And then when I get back to the kitchen, it's very much driven by the feel, for sure. Changes made, based on, trial and error. I definitely do make things several times before I present them, just to make sure that, tweaks don't need to be made and in the way that it feels. That's definitely a very big driving force in the way that I cook and, create these experiences for people highly around food.
I picture that, do you know that show Chopped? Where, hi Peggy, hi Lana. Do you know that show Chopped where you never know what's going to be inside the basket?
Yes.
I didn't tell you we were going to do this, but I just got the idea of doing it now because I'm looking. I have the whole, and if you don't want to do it, we don't have to do it. But I have the whole stack and they're combined of both decks. Can I pull 3 cards and you tell me what you would make with it? And let's just play a game. And let's just hope. I'm going to say, okay, this is going to be a online Nourish Your Soul concoction from Chef Autumn, and we're just going to pull 3 foods and make a high vibrational, high frequency meal. And I'd be curious to see what other people think. But I'm going to pull. Okay, two came out from the second deck, and all right, 1 card from the first deck. Okay, so here are the foods you have to work with. You ready?
I'm ready.
Goji berries, pumpkin seeds, and let's see what the third one is, and nutmeg. Okay, so what do we have here? We have moderation, potential, and believe. All right, so you can add other things, but somehow you got to quickly think of a dish that contains goji berries, which again was one of our amazing top foods. Oh my God, over and over goji berries, nutmeg, who doesn't love, and pumpkin seeds. And you and I don't have a do. You have time to think about it, but like what intuitively comes to mind with that?
A take on a peanut butter and jelly. I would make a peanut butter type substitute with those pumpkin seeds and the nutmeg. I would grind them down into a paste and then soak the goji berries in something sweeter, maybe an apple cider or something, and create a compote. And then I would put that on homemade lavash bread.
And so it is. Okay, I so want that. Can we do that one more time? That was awesome.
Sure.
Oh my God, that was so fun. What do you all think of that? All right, so here, she didn't know I was going to do this, but this is even as she's explaining it, aren't you just like feeling into the energy of like what that might like be in the body, like believing in here. Let's just take that before we move on to the next one. Moderate. So I got moderate your thoughts because sometimes we think it's our mindset that gets us in trouble. When we just moderate our thoughts and like second and go, I'm going to let that go. And I'm going to believe in the potential for this outcome to be for me, not against me. Because sometimes we're our own worst enemy, aren't we? And so
what a beautiful message.
And this is what that's saying. Moderate that. So it's literally like you're believing in the potential of attraction. You're believing in the potential of manifestation. And as you're eating that, we're eating that frequency of potential of something to manifest. So that's how I see that. When you eat the foods, we make the smoothies. We're going to be talking in a few minutes here after we do one more of these about the upcoming longevity retreat. But that's really the power of intention in why frequency matters, right? You like that message?
I loved it. A very powerful 2-2 portal message.
There you go. And look, I want Chef Autumn to live at my house. She has made the most amazing. We were going out of town to Florida. We're in Florida. We were going up to Orlando, and it's very expensive to go to restaurants up there. And I thought, oh my God, I have a full kitchen. So I drove up, and she made several, like a whole entire, I don't know, it was like 20 bins of food. And oh, my daughters and I were so happy. It was like, talk about nourishing your soul. All right, I'm going to do this again. And I freaking love what you did. Okay, so 3 more cards. Here we go. Okay. Oh, these are all from the second deck. Can I do a 4th one? Will that throw you off?
No, go for it.
All right, I'm going to do a 4th one. I just have to. Okay. Your first food is grapefruit. Okay. And we were talking about, so many people on the intensive were like, I'm not so sure. Your second food is peppers. Okay. This is really like, you never know what's going to be in the box. Oh, your third card is guava for wealth. Okay. So I already like what's happening here because you have choices. You can be cautious. I mean, and we got the wealth card. Well, I got to see what the 4th card is before I give you what the reading is. But you're a reader too, besides being a chef. Oh, I don't know how you're going to do this, chef. Carrots for empowerment. Okay. This one, who can even go there? Let's see what she comes up with. We have empowerment, wealth, choices, and we have caution. Why is that caution card coming up with the choice to empower ourselves with wealth? What do you think's happening here?
I think that the wealth is, we're going to use that like a condiment.
Okay.
And as well as caution, because those are both very important in moderation. So we are going to turn those carrots into black pepper carrot hot dogs. And we're going to make ketchup out of the guava. And we're going to make mustard out of the grapefruit because of the tang that grapefruit brings, like a tangy mustard. And so we're going to use the caution and the wealth as condiments. So you put as much or as little as you prefer.
Snap dog. Oh my God. That just came to you, right? It's not like you sat there and wrote a recipe. All right. So what can we say? And I don't need to be the one to do it. What can we say this message is trying to tell us? It goes along, in my opinion, the same story or message from the first round.
Right. Just an echo.
So you want me to throw and say what my thoughts are?
Yes.
So often our mindset, our belief system, our ability to manifest, create, is a choice. And sometimes we get stuck in these old patterns of just sometimes it's like when something's uncomfortable, you'd rather have it be uncomfortable because you know it, even though you don't like it, but you're comfortable in the discomfort. This is saying, wait a minute, caution, you have choices. In fact, if you make an empowered choice, you're more apt to bring in the wealth and bring it into you. And so it's really like we're getting 2 messages tonight about believing in yourself and the potential. Moderate your thoughts. Caution, you have choices. Let's take a look. We're in February, right? This is a feminine month. January was do. And that was my message in the gold members group today in the High Vibe Wellness Tribe. You know, we come into January and it's like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to go to the gym more. I'm going to, think positively. It's like this male energy, January. And then February kind of just squeaks in. And here we are. It's the second, like it's feminine. It's like, now we want to be these things. How many people are going to sustain it? So we have the choice. And when someone like you, chef, can take a food and a card and put it into something tangible, you can eat it. You're eating that frequency of choice. You're eating that frequency of wealth. You're eating that frequency of potential. And segue in, that's why you, as a certified reader, when you make these intentional meals for your clients, it's like a dream come true. They have no idea. So tell people who are listening, don't you pull cards or you consider it? Like, how does it work with you in these cards when you're working with your clients? Because that was amazing.
Thank you very much. Yes, I pull cards every single week when I'm writing a meal plan for my clients. I, I definitely take their, personal taste into consideration, but then I let spirit lead me in what their body needs for that particular week, the nuances of their wellness is in the balance, and I really try to put all the details into their meal plan so that they can have the best feeling time that they can possibly have.
Look what someone just said. Autumn, you are radiating goddess vibes tonight.
Aw, thank you very much. That's so sweet of you.
So we have a very special event coming up. Autumn and I are going to look at really nourishing your soul, and here's why. Because April 9th through 12th here in Cape Coral, Florida, we're going to do something called the Longevity Retreat. And this is something I've done before. I'd like to do this every year. And I really want to bring forward the essence of what people are doing in the world. There are regions of the world where they actually have studied this, zones of the world, if you will, that allow you to understand why in certain parts of the world people are living longer than others. And I love the concept of not only studying about it, talking about it, but eating foods that are high vibrational, highly frequent, has a high frequency. And I couldn't think of anyone better than Chef Autumn to like present what that food looks like. So we'll talk about different parts of the world, and then you go and have a gourmet lunch. And then we'll talk about those parts of the world, not only what they're eating, but how they're thinking, feeling, moving. And then, Chef Autumn, you're going to prepare. So when I presented to you this idea, let's spend a weekend with some incredible people coming to this. Hopefully more who are listening will join us. We got a few spots
Yes,
left.
please come and join us.
What was it like? Was it exciting for you? Because like you could just be, all out creative, or what was the process? Because I know the menus you put together were like, oh my God, they're just beautiful. And then when I saw how intentional they were related to the cards, I was like, this is going to be an amazing experience.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I was thrilled when you asked me to, think about and be a part of this. It really, the blue zones really encompass lots of things that I really find important. Not just the diet, but, living with purpose and belonging and, incorporating natural movement into your life. I really think those reminders are really important. So to bring all these things together all in one, action-packed few days, like what an amazing reset for, like your summer and, things that you want to make your goals happen. I feel like it could be so powerful.
Yeah, it's going to be powerful, and interesting that you would say action-packed. In a way, it is action-packed, but it's subtle action. We may
Sure.
be doing some yoga, and we're going to have some beautiful speakers, and I'll be presenting on different topics because there's a lot of confusion out there. I bet you have that with your clients when they ask, they see something online. Is this the diet I should be on, or is that the diet? Is that what is a polyphenol? What is a telomere? What is, look how many, glucosinolates, we were talking about that at the intensive, but it will be action packed in a way that leaves people with wisdom that they can take home. And you had mentioned that you were going to create a little recipe, they get to leave with it, not just experience it there, but go home and implement that. That's important, right?
Yes, I'm going to offer an ebook with one recipe from each of the 5 original Blue Zone locations so that folks can see how easy it is to really incorporate this type of lifestyle.
Well, in the spirit of Valentine's Day, I've been seeing some very delicious posts going all over the internet. So if you're in Florida, because I'm assuming this is local experience, right? These beautiful chocolate covered strawberries, and what else was on there? I saw some things. I didn't know that if you ship or if that's just for something local, but let's talk about this flyer I'm seeing going all
All
over.
right. Well, the strawberries are definitely a local delicacy, but I'm also offering the honeycomb candy, and that can be shipped dipped in the chocolate, as well as the Dubai pucks, which are the pistachio filling inside of chocolate. And those can also be shipped.
Is that what you made at one of our other retreats? That there was a bee on top, but inside? Tell me what that was. If it's not that, I want people to know, because that to me was like one of the best desserts I've ever had. And to this day, Heather and I, my daughter, are like, we need more of those. Put it on our list one time when we can see. What
That
were
was a
those?
different thing. Those were healthy Snickers bars, a medjool date filled with cashew butter and a pecan, and then you dip that in chocolate. So it's kind of like a Snickers bar with the date being the nougat, but not nearly the guilt.
Okay, so I would like an order of those, and I would like an order of the honeycomb. Oh my gosh. You put little gold sprinkles on it, I think,
Oh,
or
yes.
yeah.
They are gilded with 24 karat gold leaf.
All right, so chef, how do people know how to get in touch with you? Because you have so much to offer.
Well, I have a website. It is the seasonalbounty.com, as well as any email correspondence, the seasonalbountyco@gmail.com.
Okay, don't forget the co. That's important. The Seasonal
Right,
Bounty Co. co.com.
right, correct.
Well, if you want to join us at the April 9th through 12th, it is a Thursday through Sunday. And then, wait, there's more. Sunday afternoon, as the retreat completes, that afternoon, people stay. And then we're having a 1 day afternoon, 1 through 5, a smoothie and juice intentional workshop, play shop. And I loved it. We've done one of these before, and we had all this food laid out, but how did you like the last one? Because I thought it was so creative that people get to experience creating their own affirmation through food, feeling the frequency. Because you could literally drink something, say nothing, and then have an attuned frequency derived affirmation that is intentional about the food, and then drink it. You can actually feel that. And I don't know how that was when you first experienced it, but we're going to do that again.
Yeah, it was really great. A lot of things I wouldn't have ever thought about incorporating into the smoothie, but felt really spirit driven for sure.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being an amazing chef that you are. You're a real gift, and um, I I just look forward to doing many more things. Chef and I got to travel to Alaska last year together. We've done some events and a lot of things going on, but we're really looking forward to this longevity retreat, April
Oh,
9th.
yes.
Yeah. All right, Chef.
Wonderful.
Yeah, stay on. Or any last words you want to say to anyone?
I am just so happy to be here tonight, and thank you to everyone who watches this. It's really a pleasure to be a part of this.
I love her. Isn't she the greatest? Thank you for being here, for listening. If you, as soon as this ends, the recording sets, and then you can share this on Facebook. You can share this on Instagram. You can share this on YouTube. And like our page or subscribe to our YouTube channel. Every week we have incredible high vibrational guests. And we always incorporate one way, shape, or form how to nourish your soul. And tonight, my soul was definitely nourished. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Chef. Have a good night, everybody.